Now, from Wish TV, this is The Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
Coming up on The Zone Extra.
Carmel has won the 4A state championship.
Champions are crowned in boys basketball.
These guys, two seniors, stepped up through the whole tournament. They're the ones that got us here.
Tonight in the Coach's Corner, we hit the track with Lawrence North. Plus, our athlete of the week from Zionsville is making waves nationally.
It's really cool, honestly, because most of those people, I would say they're almost like celebrities in my eyes in the swimming world.
We're swinging for the fences. The Zone Extra starts right now. Evening, everybody. Thank you for stopping by the Zone Extra. I'm Charlie Clifford. Winter sports, we're done, but not before several familiar boys basketball state champs grab the trophy once again. The spring sport takeover, we are here, folks. Our Coach's Corner tonight, Lawrence North boys track headman Pat Mallory joining us. The proud Wildcats tradition as strong as ever. Plus, our athlete of the week turning heads nationally in the pool. And does the IHSAA have a shortage of high school officials? The commish, Paul Neidig, standing by for our Ask the Expert segment. It was an all-MIC matchup. Class 4A boys basketball final. Number 2, Carmel. Third-ranked Lawrence North. This did not disappoint. Neither team led by more than 7 points all night this past weekend. LN, the quick lead to start. The Hounds came right back, led by 1 at half, led by 5 after 3 quarters. Jack Keefer's Cats rallying in the fourth to force overtime, but in the extra period, Connor Joya hands the Hounds the lead. They make 10 of 13 from the line down the stretch. Carmel a winner, 51-46. 5th state title for the program, 2nd consecutive crown under head coach Ryan Osborne.
Heck of a run, 2 years in the making, never wavered. The growth that we've seen out of this group is it's amazing. They always rise to the occasion. So LN's a great team, very talented. They played hard. Got to give them a lot of credit. It was a battle.
I mean, I've been playing with these guys ever since I can remember, back to 3rd grade, travel post basketball, and even through all those games, you win small championships then, but the big goal in your head is 7 or 8 years from now, you want to be wearing this, you want to be a state champion, and just to have the feeling to be out there with the guys that I've been growing up with my whole life, just a special feeling I'll never forget.
Congrats to Carmel. Both squads left everything on the floor. Things started at Bankers Life on Saturday with the 1A game behind a game-high 23 points from Kurt Hopf. Bar Reeve, 2nd title in program history, an 18-point win over Couts in 2A. Purdue incoming forward, Caleb First, Blackhawk Christian defending its 2019 state title. First, the game-high 20 as the Braves top Park Heritage by 15. 3A, another repeat winner. Another future Boilermaker, Trey Kaufman-Wren with 13 points. Toledo commit Cooper Jacoby goes for 18. Silver Creek holding off a furious rally late from Leo for a 1-point win. Congrats to every squad who was on the floor at Bankers Life Fieldhouse this past weekend. A hoop season we were just thrilled to have back on the floor. Moving to the Diamond, action heating up for the first time in 2 years. Yes, we're back. The regular season opening across the state this past week. In Class 4A, Hamilton Southeastern, we see ya. Defending champs, the Royals brought home the school's first ever baseball title back in 2019. HSE took 2 of 3 over the weekend. The inaugural Royals Classic opened Hoosier Crossroads play this week with a pair game against Brownsburg. Pair of games, I should say. According to the Royals, they are excited to be back on the Diamond, but early season, you know what the focus is. Get the young guys up to speed after the season was wiped out last spring.
The biggest challenge is we've got a lot of older, really talented kids, but we have a lot of kids that have not played varsity baseball. And so with the competitive schedule we play and the great baseball that there is in Central Indiana, kind of preparing them for that mentally has been good.
It is awesome, especially playing with new people. I know the sophomores this year have not played, and a lot of them are on varsity this year, so getting the feeling to play with different guys is awesome. We're doing a great job continuing playing our sports. We're all ready to get back to playing baseball since we did not play last year.
We have a lot of potential, a lot of hidden potential. We still have a lot of stuff to work on, but I'm glad with what I've seen so far.
Between McCall and Diltz, that team is just going to be dangerous. Meanwhile, boys volleyball, Roncalli once again one of the top teams in the area. The Royals ranked second in the state, 13th nationally in this week's rankings. If you love the sport, you got to catch this team. It's that simple. The Royals have made the state's Final Four 7 consecutive years, 5 runner-up finishes, and of course the state title back in 2018. This year, strong senior class, multiple players moving on to play at the collegiate level this coming fall. According to head coach John Kesterson, the strength of the program, a lot to do with the growth of the sport amongst younger kids, many of whom who have played and teamed up together long before they got to the high school level.
The commitment of the families, especially the grade school level, because you have the parents volunteering their time to coach and teach these kids the love of the game, starting in 4th, 5th grade. These kids come in highly successful, highly motivated, and the love of the sport. So it builds what we are.
We're all just best friends, and we all trust each other. We work together as one really well, and I think that plays a huge part in our success so far.
I feel like every year we have more and more freshmen coming out to try out here at Roncalli, and I feel like in other programs around the state, it's the same way for them too. So it's just nice to see the game growing like that.
Coach Kesterson needs a little more room up on the wall. The banners present for the Royals. We're going to take a quick break. Still ahead on the Zone Extra. The man in the coach's corner tonight, in charge of the boys track team at Lawrence North, Pat Mallory, speaks to you next. Still ahead. He won a pair of state titles in the pool as a what? How old is this young man? Will Modulin, Zionsville. The swimming community around the country. Why do they already know his name? That story when we come back.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. The Coach's Corner, presented by Junk King.
Welcome back to the Zone Extra. It is time for our Coach's Corner. Lawrence North, the Wildcats' proud tradition of excellence, returning to the track this spring. Pat Mallory, you recognize him from Friday nights. Coach, normally we're talking to you a little earlier than this, pregame kickoff, a heck of a football season, and here you are, the man that doesn't sleep over at LN, Pat Mallory. Good to see you, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
How's the season going? We know we're just getting going, and we've missed the action. It feels like 10 years ago we were out at track and field meets, but I understand the season's off to a good start.
It is. You know, we had a great event last night. We hosted Ben Davis, North Central, Roncalli.
There we go.
Some of our kids surprised us. We're really, really young. We have a bunch of sophomores and freshmen that are starting for us right now. So, you know, they did a great job, but they surprised us, and we pulled out the wins last night.
We're taking a look at the meet. What stood out? You had expectations. It sounds like a lot of this is trial and error early this spring. What were your takeaways when you left the meet?
Yeah, I just took away the fact that we're just inexperienced. And, you know, talking with Mike Davidson at Ben Davis and Taylor Marshall at North Central, both very seasoned and state champion coaches themselves. And you know, just they're young as well, you know, and COVID has knocked some of our kids out. You know, I've got one of the top track kids in the state, can't compete right now, you know.
Who's that?
His name's James Vaden.
Yeah, we know that name.
And just very, very good, and it's just one of those things that he and his family have decided that they won't compete this season. So,
hey, all the best to James going forward. Let's look at the rest of the team. You've done this deal. Who's standing out this year under Pat Mallory's watch?
You know, Israel Jackson, one of our freshmen, he won a 200 and finished second in 100 last night. We finished second in a 4x1, and he starts us off in that. And then guy that you've covered in football before, Jordan Jackson, opposite of Omar Cooper. And
no one likes to cover Mr. Jackson.
No.
I know that much on Friday night.
Well, and he doesn't think anybody can cover him either. Just ask him.
That's half the equation there.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the storied run here for you and also the program. Indy, the track community doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. I know how obsessed we are with hoops and football, but the talent in and around Indy, how do you sum that up to folks who aren't as into this as you are?
Yeah, you just go and experience a Marion County track meet, you know, and Hamilton County track meet.
Yeah.
You know, Johnson County, I mean, Center Grove's good. You know, Center Grove comes on always I coached there for 10 years. So Center Grove comes on, you know, the last half of the season. They usually pull out a top 5, you know, in the state championship meet. It's just one of those things that's kind of forgotten about, you know, because we're at the end of the school year and people are thinking about summer and you know, guys will go out and gals will go out and watch baseball and softball, and then we forget about track. And Taylor Marshall and I, the head coach at North Central, we were talking last night that we just wish more people would come out and watch it, because there's so many different intricate parts of it that you just can't have 1 or 2 guys to have a great track team. You know, there's a multiple events, field events. Big guys can do things, little guys can do things. You watch, you know, 2 years ago we had the national champ pole vaulter. You know,
he's now down at IU, correct?
Yeah, at IU, doing big things down there.
More records to break.
And I just, you know, I think for the next 10, 12 years, people are still going to hear about Nathan Stone. And that's just what comes out of, you know, Lawrence North or even Indianapolis area track and field. You know, he was also named the Mr. Track and Field.
Right.
So most people would not know that. You know, people will see that Jayla Smith was Miss Basketball.
Right. Yeah.
But most people won't know about Mr. Track and Field Nathan Stone, just because people don't really pay attention to track.
Well, Pat, let's let them know right here with some of these stats. 4 state championships for the Wildcats, 3 times runner-up, the sectional titles. They've gone in your favor 5 of the last 6 years. And as you mentioned, Mr. Stone, all the best in Bloomington. We are well aware of your excellence here in Indy. I want to pivot quickly before we wrap up. Donovan McCully, the man who, his name, Pat, will be on your list in terms of what changed at LN. We know he put on such a show. We're going to miss these highlights. Coach Tom Allen in Bloomington, thrilled to have him coming on board. What's the latest with your quarterback who now sets his sights on the Big Ten?
Well, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Jack Kiefer and I were sitting down wrapping up a breakfast, staff breakfast, and we were talking, and I was like, you know, great job with Donovan. And he's like, no, Coach, great job with Donovan. I mean, he has just been the guy that has come, you know, not so much off the bench, but off the field onto the court, and has been that muscle that we needed. You know, they've got their scorers and Shamar and DJ and CJ, and they needed that muscle, and that's why he did. He was their muscle guy.
And props to him. He has the offer. He could have taken hoops off. He could have said, I'm going to get in the gym and just throw and throw and throw. How fun was that run down the stretch? I know the Cats fell a little short, as you saw earlier in the show, but Coach Mallory, always good to see you. Keep up the great work, all right?
Yep, thank you for having us.
You got it. Still ahead on the Zone Extra, our athlete of the week, quickly becoming the talk of the Indy swimming community. We head to Zionsville in a little bit later. Play of the week, who takes it home after a crazy weekend at Bankers Life Fieldhouse? We'll be back.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
Welcome back. This is the Zone Extra. Charlie Clifford with you. Our athlete of the week on pace to make history. Indy's powerhouse swimming community issuing in a new star. The rest of the country watching this story closely. Zionsville's Will Modulin kicking towards the best swimmers in Indiana high school state history as a sophomore.
Will is one of 3 Modulins that we've had on the team, and so you know we've seen the Modulins come through for years, and so you know we knew that he was going to be pretty special when he came to the high school level.
This last 2 years, he got to train with his middle brother Coleman, and Coleman was also a really hard worker and a great leader in our pool, and kind of showed Will how to do it, the way to go.
Little brother just put on a show. Closing February with 2 individual IHSAA state titles, both swims, Indiana state high school record times for 15 and 16-year-olds.
From Zionsville, Will Modulin.
It's really cool, honestly, because most of those people, I would say they're almost like celebrities in my eyes in the swimming world. And I would say being faster or just like less than a second off their times when they were my age. It's definitely really humbling.
Will Modulin is far from done at the Natatorium downtown, and for the next 2 seasons, Eagles supporters on the lookout for history, something the 6'4", 16-year-old is not shy about.
I want to go out there and maybe get a couple state records. All the guys are really motivated. We really want to challenge Carmel for their streak.
I mean, I think he's certainly a force. You know, he's tall. He's got a great feel for the water. He's improved tremendously. As long as we continue to produce the elite level male swimming in our state, I think it's a great thing. And Will certainly, you know, he's well on his way.
As the opposition applauds, Indy proud to take a front row seat to see what happens next. Appreciate the time with Will. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the latest installment of Ask the Commissioner, Paul Neidig of the IHSAA.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
It is time for Ask the Commissioner. Each week we take one of your questions for the IHSAA. Commish Paul Neidig, bring you his answer. Here is the question this week. Is there a shortage of officials for high school sports contests in Indiana? And if so, which sports have the greatest need?
Well, you know, I'd say we always have a need across all of our sports. You know, officials are always something that we need to be focused on and making sure we're bringing people back in who participated in the game and they want to give back to it. And I would say we don't have a statewide shortage. We have some regional issues in places where, you know, in a certain part of the state, we may be short some football officials or some soccer officials or track and field. And so we're constantly recruiting, trying to fill those spots that we have and introduce new people. And I always say it's a great way to give back. We love playing the game, but there comes a time where that part of it leaves us and we can't play it anymore at a high level. But officiating the game so kids can play the game, just like we all had an opportunity to do so, I think is a noble. It's certainly valued by the association, and I think it's valued by most people. Every once in a while, we got some folks that are a little overzealous towards our officials, and you know, they're human beings, just like the people coaching the game, the people playing the game, and the people cheering for the game. And we have to realize that everybody's human being and nobody's perfect, and we're going to continue to find the best people we have. We're going to train them, and we're going to continue to look for officials out there that want to give back to high school sports.
Spot on perspective from Commissioner Neidig. Thank you very much. Here's how you can get your question on our show. Tweet using the hashtag #TheZoneExtra and ask the commish, and your question could be right here. It's that easy. One of our favorite parts covering high school sports, watching you in the stands. The student sections slowly coming back safely. The Zone Banner Award. We're back, baby. Congrats to Westfield, the Banner champs in 2020. Banner season may technically be over, but we're always looking. Social media, every spring sport, it still counts. We'll have our eyes on your school spirit, and we'll see you next fall for the next Banner champ. Now we need to take a look. Our play of the week. Each week we feature one of the top plays from across Central Indiana. Get involved. Send us your stuff. If you're at these games, let's get it on this show. First, this week's top play. Carmel, Lawrence North, Brian Waddell, baseline. Yes, Mr. Waddell had a good week. And one more time, Jimmy and Jam, senior star for Carmel, 5th title in program history. How about 2 for Brian? Shout out Coach Osborne. This is how you can get us your top play. Hashtag #TheZoneExtra, and you just watch next Thursday night. And hey, Brian's on TV. It's that simple. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Coach Mallory. Great to see him in studio. And we will see you out on the diamonds, out at the volleyball games as the spring arrives. The Zone Extra. Brian Eckstein leading the charge here in the Wish TV studio. For Charlie Clifford and the rest of the crew, have a great night.